This is a scanit file. A scanit file is an application that will scan the network and read all the drives on all the machines, and will search for the file types that you enter into this box here. It can search for multiple file types, and you would separate with a semicolon. By default, it searches for .exe, semicolon .xls semicolon doc, I believe, and there's no semicolon at the end, so it's file types, semicolon separator, and no semicolon at the end. Now this, I've just opened this application. It's been run before. There is a database on the SQL server, but I've opened this from a different location, so as far as it's concerned, it thinks this is a different machine, so I have to introduce it to the SQL server again. So we go to here, 192.168.1.2, just check, yes, that's correct, connect to the SQL server, and it tells me it's going to make that connection. Yes, we'll let that do that. It's connected, and it's brought back the last range that was scanned. So if this was a first scan, if it's first connection, I would now have to enter in the first IP address and the end IP address of the range I want to scan. That would be a number to a number, not 0, because 0 means all IP addresses in that range, so it's got to be something to something. This is a class C, so 255. It won't scan 255 itself because it's a broadcast, so we'll drop that. And on the last scan that it was done with this software, it was told to get bitmaps, and only bitmaps, and it's remembered that, so basically it's ready to go. I just connect it to the server. Now, because this is running in licensed mode, if it was unlicensed, every time I start it, I would have to reconnect it to the server. But because it's licensed, when I shut this down and restart it, it would automatically connect to the server and come back and in this state, and would be ready to go. And I would do a scan, or I would look at the data from previous scans. Now what we're going to do now is look at the data from previous scans. So we'd have nodes, and these are the nodes that scanned before, and then we can have a look at files, and we can go down here and right click, give a count, and that will tell us that we have, let's click to get the little box out of the way, 5066 individual bitmap files on the network. And we can see that we can put notes in here, and remember, we do notes through the drop down here, we enter them through the drop down there, and they will show here, and that's notes for that particular bitmap as a type, and each one, click on the row and you'll get the little notes box, and you can add notes about a particular bitmap, but it's as it's that bitmap generally. So here, we've got a thank you bitmap, and it's saying that there's one, and there's one instance on the network. However, with the logo bitmap, there's 10. Now, if we put notes in here, we will be putting in notes for the logo bitmap generally, regardless of where it's at. Now we might scroll down a little bit. Let's have a little look at this one. There's 10 instances of it on the network, and if we click on here, we go down here and put our notes. If we'd already done notes, they would now show here, and we can look at the instances found. So here we click on there, and we can actually see that these are the machines, and so this bitmap is on. And we'd say, well, how many machines is that actually on? Well, we can see straight away there's 2 machines, and we can expand here, and we can look at the details of the bitmaps on that one, or the details of the bitmaps on that one, but there might have been multiple machines. We can ungroup there, and we can put summaries and things in, that's in a window or the outer window as well. We can say, well, actually, let's see what different sizes they come in, and we can see that we have that same file with the same name comes in a number of different sizes. So what we have there is quite a few different versions of it. And we can clear grouping again. We can say, well, what directories are they in? And there's a number of different directories that file appears in. And in this version, you can't do anything more than, well, you can view the file. So we could, let's see, clear the grouping. We could have expanded that, but once we can see the icon, these are all the same file theoretically. So we click on here, and what we should see, do you want to save the bitmap? I want to open it, and allow, and and that's the icon. So that was the logo icon, and that's just opened that from whichever machine it was on the network. Now that file could have been a spreadsheet, a document, any type of file. If it was an executable file, it would actually have tried to run it. It would pop up a dialog box asking you, do you want to run this executable? If it was a spreadsheet, it would open it in the web browser. Document, it would open it in the web browser. So you can click on this icon. You can do a scan of your network. You can excuse me. You can do a scan of your network. You can see all the files and you can list them by type, because let's close that. They would be listed by type. We have that's under by computer. In fact, let's just go to by computer because we can see them, the individual files. Now here we've got 15,760 records, and that was just open them then, so it's quite responsive. It's affected very much by the speed of your network and the power of the machine you're running it on, and obviously the performance of the server. So here we've got a number of bitmaps. Now if we have multiple scans, we have multiple file types, we could drag the file type up to here, thus grouping by file type, or we could filter out the file type that we wanted to see, and we go through, we look at the file, we see something we want to see, and we click on here, and now whatever, it could be any file, a spreadsheet, it'll open it, document, and it could be a machine anywhere on the network, could be in another part of the world, and we click on there, and that's going to pop up, ask us if we want to open it or save it. Again, we can save that file locally. Let's say we're going to open it, we're going to allow, this is Windows 7, so it's quite particular about that, and there is the icon. These are all bitmaps, so they're all icons, and there's the icon. And then we got the history of the file, so we can see when it was first found, what scan it was first found on, and what files have disappeared, because we'd see a file that had been there, first found on this date, and then last found on the last scan, find another one that was first found on this date, hasn't been found for that was the last time it was found, so you know that it's been deleted at that time. And this all hooks into the current user as well. There's another application which is in the pipeline which will detect in actual fact this is picking up current user, but there's another application that will show that current user information, and with that it then allows you to cross-reference files, so you can see who's the current user of the machine at the time the file disappeared and all that sort of thing. So that's just a quick overview. These demos are we're running a bit behind on them. We've got applications up and we haven't got the demos done, and so as bad as they are, and I know they are bad, but we're rushing through them quickly just to get something up there, and then we'll pad these out with much more professional demos once we've managed to get something out for each of the applications. We're actually bringing out the applications faster than we can do the demos at the moment. But thank you very much for looking at this, and I hope you have fun playing with that. Thank you.